But at the end of the day, LinkedIn is a tool. It's something that we use to get to our objective. It's not our objective. LinkedIn is not their job, but it's a tool that will help them enhance, get to that objective that they had initially.
Yeah, it's a tool. Exactly. So I talk to salespeople, don't I? So yeah, the phone's a tool. Videos is a tool. Teams is a tool. Try and see people is a tool. Yeah, you standing in front, delivering a presentation tool. The stories you tell people, tool, assets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what you do is you start out with, I have an objective. What's the best way to reach my objective? What tools do I need to put in place to get there?
And then how do I build my activity, my system, my way of working to make that work? You're listening to the Sales Today podcast, and I'm your host, Fred Copestake. On this podcast, we explore how sales professionals can develop a modern approach to winning business, the application of virtual selling techniques, how to create meaningful business relationships, and much more. Why not take our free collaborative selling scorecard to see how your sales approach suits today's environment? You'll find a link in the show notes. And welcome to this episode of the Sales Today podcast, where I'm delighted to be joined by Mick Adam. Mick is a LinkedIn trainer, coach, and he's also just told me he's a power user. So that's made my first question dead easy. So first up, Mick, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show.
Well, no, we got something very specific I want to speak about. But when you said power user, I thought, well, I've now got a first question. I haven't come across that term before. What is it?
Well, a power user is, in my opinion, somebody who uses LinkedIn on a daily basis to achieve their goals and their objectives, and actually stretches LinkedIn and its usage to the limit. Because one thing that I do find, and I know this is not the topic of today, but is that a lot of people use LinkedIn for about 5 to 10% of its functionality. And they forget to use all the nice things that maybe they never heard of, or nobody's told them about. LinkedIn certainly didn't. And trying to stretch that and trying to make LinkedIn as a tool to get to your objectives, that's what I would call being a power user.
Okay. You know what, let's take a little 5 minutes on this, because I think that is probably something that a lot of people will take value from, because so often you hear LinkedIn doesn't work. And then we look at what they're doing. You're going on, you're posting once, twice a week. Posts not even that good.
Yeah.
And that's why not. So you're not even stretching. You're barely making any impression on it.
What I do find, though, is that a lot of people don't have to start out with what is the objective, what is the goal, and how are they going to measure that? Because if you don't start out from what is your goal or your objective and how you're going to measure it, you're not going to get any results from LinkedIn. You'll always say, I'm not getting the results I want, because you don't know what results you want.
Yeah. And a lot of times you see people go, leads, 5x leads, 10x leads, 100x leads, millionx leads.
What's a lead?
Well,
no.
Some people, well, no, I am very cynical about this. Some people will claim they can get you lots of leads, but they're equating a lead to a like. Oh, somebody's liked it, that's a lead. It's like, no, don't be stupid.
No. I mean, for me, my definition of a lead is basically very simple. It's somebody that I can go and have a meeting with, and that I have a meeting with, I have a planned talk with this person. That for me is a lead.
Yeah, with a genuine interest and a likelihood that something is going to happen as a result.
Or it could end up being a disqualified lead, but at least the interest was there to have a chat and to see if there is something we can do for each other.
Yeah. It isn't going to be just leads, though, is it? Potentially. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, that's the obvious one. It could be my objective is enhancing my reputation. I'm getting my leads elsewhere. It's really cool how I'm doing that. And I know people are going to have a look at LinkedIn and I just want to turn up, get my first impressions before I meet them. And that's my job. That's what LinkedIn's job is. I don't need to get conversations off it.
Exactly, but again, it's a matter of define what you want to do as an objective, and make it measurable, so that at least at the end of the day you can say, I met it, I didn't meet it, I need to change course, maybe I need to talk to somebody who can help me get to those goals. But at the end of the day, LinkedIn is a tool. It's something that we use to get to our objective. It's not our objective. LinkedIn is not their job. In my sense, it is my job, but in their sense, it's not their job. But it's a tool that will help them enhance, get to get to that objective that they had initially.
Yeah, it's a tool. Exactly. So I mean, I talk to salespeople, don't I? So yeah, the phone's a tool.
Yeah.
Video
This,
is a tool.
yeah.
Teams is a tool.
And
Your
there are
car,
still
your
people.
car to drive and see people is a tool. Yeah, you standing in front, delivering a presentation tool. The stories you tell people, tool, assets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But what you do is you start out with, I have an objective. What's the best way to reach my objective? What tools do I need to put in place to get there?
And then how do I build my activity, my system,
Right.
my way of working to make that work?
Exactly.
That is a different podcast, which we might well have to do so. But very specifically, what I wanted to speak to you about, and you, because I don't see so many people talking about this, is employee advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take this nice and steady. What do you mean when you talk about employee advocacy on LinkedIn?
When I talk about employee advocacy on LinkedIn, for me, it is the employees who actually carry out the culture of the company, speak in, support their company in the digital world, but also in the real world, because it's more than just LinkedIn or Facebook or even TikTok. It's also in the real world. It's how you present your employer in the outside world. That for me is employee advocacy, is you're going to talk, hopefully, good things about your employer, but let's hope that it's not bad, but you help your employer be visible in your network with all kinds of messages that you either create, which I prefer, or that you obviously share, that the company wants you to, between parentheses, share.
Okay, so all kinds of messages which you create, we'll come on to that,
Yeah.
or you share the company one.
Yeah. Yep.
As I understand it, we are not talking about the company posts something on the company page and we all repost it.
Well, in some cases,
Or is that a thing?
To me, that is oftentimes the first step to all the other things, because a lot of people are reluctant to share something about their company, about their job, about their environment, and so on. So they need the safety of something that is approved and that helps their company forward. They want to do something, but the fear, or it is a fear, is there that they don't know how, they don't know what, they don't know how to phrase it, whatever. Repost is a first stepping stone to more, because eventually you want them to do more. But I mean, it's hard enough to get anybody to create a post. So it has to start somewhere. Start with repost in an initial phase.
Okay. Interesting when you said fear. My brain went, it's not always the employee that's fearful. It's the employer as much as anything. You say, oh, I don't want people posting stuff. I can't trust them. It's like, well, this is a different discussion though, isn't it? But you can't trust people to say something. I mean, forget sales point of view, but you pay them to speak to customers all day, but you don't trust them to say something. Well, that's just not make any sense. It kind of does my head in that.
The thing is, I think where a lot of fear comes from is that employee advocacy is always asked of employees, but not the C-suite.
Okay.
So management is often not leading by example. And that's where the fear comes from on all sides, because management sees people post about the company and they go like, what did they say? And this is not good. So there's fear on the management / company side, and employees become afraid for the simple reason that if they put something out that is not entirely correct, they might get, slapped on the fingers or on the hand or wherever they get slapped on, which then creates completely the opposite effect. So what you really want is your employees, taking up the gloves and go to the fight for your company And that has to be done in mutual trust and collaboration. Because if you're going to put a lot of time and money into an advocacy program, you better have your management as leading by example. Otherwise, you're right up for big failure.
Okay. Well, I mean, you could say that for many things, really, couldn't you? Yeah, but no, absolutely.
I
But
know,
this
I
is
know.
very visible. I guess the thing about this is it's highly visible very quickly
Yep.
that they're not on board with this. Why should we? Or,
That's
whoa, this is
that's you
serious.
get.
This is
Yep.
serious. They're doing this. They're all over it.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's also the biggest reason one gets if you talk about the implementation of a program is that, yeah, but they're not doing it. Why should we?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we work for the company, but I mean, why should we be, if, if they don't do it, why should we? That's the very simple question. And if management, the C-suite, this, whatever, if they could, collaborate in this employee advocacy because they're employees too, in a certain way, so they need to contribute to it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that C-suite, senior management don't do it?
There's lots of reasons.
It's tough.
Obviously, they don't have time. At least that's what they say. They don't have time. They have no idea what to post themselves. I mean, that's a reality. And they certainly think it's not their job. And I think also is they think that uh, it's up to the employees to do this stuff and not them. I think that's also, the being lazy in the whole scheme of things. But there are some good examples out there. I mean, there's lots of companies that have their C-suite working, and if the C-suite is there, and I've experienced it, then I mean, the rest of the company, it's easier to convince that they need to be part of this movement.
Yeah. I mean, the time isn't really a reason, is it? If you know what to do, you can do it yourself very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Or these people have EAs.
Yeah, I mean
So,
the no time. I don't believe that anyone has like 3 to 5 minutes in a week to at least put one message out there about their company that they work for, and whether that's a manager or whether that's an employee doesn't really matter. I mean, we all have those 3 minutes. I haven't come across, or I must have been really unlucky to come across those people who have 24 hours completely booked every day. I don't think that exists.
no. So maybe time is an excuse
It
to
is. It
do
is.
with
It
no
is.
idea. But again, I don't think this is an excuse either, because it's like you're paid to think. I mean, at that level, your job is thinking.
Sure, sure.
You're not think of something to say, literally.
Plus, they're actually best placed because they are running the company. They
Yeah,
know what they want to say about their company. What would you like your company to be,
yeah,
perceived outside of, your own little club that you're in with all the other CEOs or C-suite managers? How do you want to be perceived, and how much do you want to be on the outside? Which is another element that often comes up is I don't want to be this visible. But again, I mean, if you're in a C-suite position, you're supposed to be visible.
what do you do on the like shareholder meetings? Hide under the table.
That's exactly my point. Is like, I mean, oftentimes I say to these people, I would like to be in a meeting where you are in, and if you're sitting there not saying anything, that must be a really interesting meeting to be in. I mean, what it drops dead basically. I mean, the clients, if you're with a client, you keep talking to that client, right? I mean, you want the client to perceive you and your company as the top company to work with. So why
Yeah,
not take those concepts and put them into, share them with your network, because everybody has a network.
yeah. And
And
then we got the not
oftentimes,
the job. I suspect a lot of this comes down to confidence, actually. And then they're the excuses, which are, in sales we call it a spoof objection. It's like that's not really what the issue is, but I'm going to say that because it sounds a bit more legit than I'm a bit
yeah,
scared, actually. I'm
yeah,
quite a high-powered exec, and I'm a bit scared to press a few buttons and put something out there.
yeah. I mean, and you know who the guilty party is?
Tell me.
Marketing. Because they know exactly what to do and how to do it and all of that stuff. Why aren't they sharing their knowledge with their C-suite on how to do this? Why aren't they sharing this with salespeople? And a lot of times I find that marketing is a roadblock, and their answer is, we'll create the content for our C-suite so they can, and we'll actually post it for them, so they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And then,
And if they're good, they should be able to do it the right tone of voice, and so it's coming out. Yeah.
I agree, but oftentimes I find that they want to be too much controlling and don't want to give the employees or management the necessary freedom to be themselves, because we are all human beings and we all have our tone of voice.
This is the one that annoys me most. I mean, as you know, from a sales point of view, where the salespeople are stopped from saying something. So you actually have got a bunch of people who want to say things,
Yep.
but it's like, well, no, we don't want you to. Again, but I said it earlier, because we don't trust you to. It's like, hang on, but you're employing me to go out and speak to customers on a day-in basis. They ask me questions, I answer them. I mean, that's immediately your content. You don't even have to worry about what marketing say. I got asked this last week, post about it next week. Not who, but this question came up, and our response was, bang, that's interesting. Easy.
That's the perfect, I mean, in my opinion, that's the perfect place for salespeople to make their content. I mean, that's like the number one rule that I give to people. You meet with other people, they ask you questions. These questions are the foundation of your upcoming posts, because you, as a salesperson or as a C-suite manager, you've answered the question, so you know how to answer it. So why not do that? Plus, you and your company will come out in the public area as, oh, they know what they're talking about.
Because this is essentially about reputation, isn't it?
It is.
We could call it reputation management, where we're trying to manage the reputation of the company to elevate it and to make it look really good. But from a salesperson point of view, that's exactly what you're trying to do. You want to be surrounding yourself with content, with stuff, so that people can look at you and go,
Yeah, exactly.
You're the person I want to speak to. You clearly get this stuff.
Right.
Now, whether that's you've posted something and I'm going to ring you up, or whether it's I've got a call with Mick. Let's just have a quick. There's nothing about him. I'm not holding out much for this call. Or wow, this guy said so much stuff. It's all really good. Actually, I'm gonna have to ask you about that. Oh, and that. But he said 3 things I hadn't even got on my agenda I want to talk about. Oh, he knows his stuff. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh, on that one.
Yeah, and I guess that's the position you want to be in. Because and it's so simple. And like I said, this applies to everybody in the company. And actually, that is the foundation of employee advocacy, because that's the way you're going to get your company in front of everybody else, because everybody in that company knows what they're talking about. Everybody has a good point. Everybody has value they add to their clients. So why wouldn't we want to talk to them?
But why are we doing this one by one when we can do it one to many?
Exactly.
Actually, the whole point of employee advocacy is many to many.
Yeah.
I mean, that multiplier is massive.
Exactly.
And then it makes those one-to-one conversations so much easier.
Exactly.
The person who's got to have it.
That's exactly the way it's supposed to operate. And yes, you need a bit of help, and I think the help can often be found in marketing. But like I said, they need to release the control that they want to have on everything that is said, mentioned, and stuff like that. Train your people on how to write. Train your people on how to make videos. Train your people on how to take a good picture. And everybody, not just the employees or the salespeople, but also the your management team, because they don't know either. I mean, and if they make better pictures, they make better posts. Why not? The company will come out much better, and there's more people talking to more people. Like you said, if we do this in our personal network, which is oftentimes far larger than the company's company page or network, yeah, we're going to reach more clients. We're going to get more people that come to us as opposed to us chasing them.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this thing about control. and being professional. I'm not going to say the name, but I did have a conversation with the company, and I was trying to persuade them to do certain stuff like we're talking about. And they were just looking at me again, we're not going to do that. I said, why not? And they said, because it's not very professional. And I flicked, right? So I was saying stuff like, look, there's nothing wrong with putting a picture of your dog or cat or something like that. Yeah. I mean, not every day, but every now and again, a bit of a personal thing. I like rugby. I like cats. I like cake. I mean, that's 3 posts this week. No, 1 post this week. But they'll say, no, it's not professional. And they were being so negative. It was can't. And the stuff they do is all central and it's about product. It's boring. And I just said, no, I'll tell you what's not professional. It's what you're doing. Because when I do this, it works. Now, it could be that the cat is also looking at one of my books. Sellotape a dreamy inside. That's the top tip there. But what you're doing, people aren't looking at it. They're not responding. So how can you say it's more professional? It looks better. Objectives. What I'm trying to achieve. That's what the point is. But they just were not accepting this. And I thought, okay, waste of time.
Yeah, but the thing, that's exactly the control. They want people to say things about the product, the services, and only about that, and it has to be regulated how it's phrased and whatever have you. But people do business with people, so they want to see you as a person that is not only knowing all the ins and outs of the product, but you also have a life. You also have interests. I mean, the biggest lesson I've ever learned in sales, because I've been in sales for quite a while, and the first lesson I learned was whenever you walk into somebody's office, look around and see if there's something you can talk about that has nothing to do with your business. Look at the books, look at the images, look at something in the room that maybe you can start a conversation on to talk about people. And I've learned to take that a little step further also in social media. It's a great place to find out what your clients are interested in and build rapport, if you want, with those people, and actually also show rapport to the other people. So when they come and look at you, they know you're not this one unique robot that always talks about products and services, but you also talk about, I took a walk with my dog, or I just flew my drone for half an hour, or I went to the football game, or whatever. And then, you have more of a fully rounded personality as opposed to, the robot, which we can send the AI in to do that these days. So I think, you need to have that when you're going to do employee advocacy in your company.
Yeah, if we're saying that people are an important element of what we're doing, because we need to have that human contact to stimulate the emotion. Also, we need to get human brains working together to understand issues and to collaborate to make stuff work. Well, let's show the person. If we don't need that, well, actually, we don't need people then. Just get a better website.
Exactly.
You don't even need LinkedIn. SEO.
Yeah. The other thing is, and this is also part of employee advocacy, by the way, which is doing just the opposite in terms of taking the content from the company that is pushed through the layers into the organization and they repost and make their own post, is that they take content that was made by people and share it through the company channels.
Wow.
It's a two-way street, because if the company all of a sudden starts sharing content that was made by Joe, the salesperson, or Judy, who works in administration and had a great post, sharing that on the channel of the companies will have an enormous impact on how you as a company treat your employees, what the culture's like. Yes, you have people speaking for you, which that's where it all comes together.
Yeah. But don't sanitize it. I might say something in a bit of a what could be considered crude way. It's just not. It's my style. It's the way I talk about stuff. Don't take that and polish it and refine it so much that it actually could have been written by AI. We're into authenticity now. That's a different thing. Video. Oh, let's take out those little pauses. No, I didn't know what I was saying. So I went, oh, it's that, right? Because that's what people do.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes do it on purpose.
And you don't sanitize it. I completely agree with you. It has to be in the tone of voice of that person, because when you meet them, that's the tone of voice you're going to get. So, I mean, if you sanitize it, you're going to get a different person in front of you. So, and then you kind of kill the whole reputation thing again.
Yeah. Right. So we've gone around the house a little bit. We started talking about sort of steps, and we sort of, you
Mhm.
said, just sharing stuff off the company page. And I was
Yeah.
a bit dismissive of it. And you said, actually, no, it is
No, no.
step one. It's the first piece
Yeah.
to just build a bit of
Yeah.
confidence.
Yep.
Where do we go after that then? What's step
Well,
two?
well, step one is you repost, blindly. Let's put it this way. The next step is you start sharing, you're doing a repost with thoughts. So you're creating a new post with some thoughts on it.
Yeah.
And that is the next stepping stone and creates more, I would say, confidence that what you write is not something that people are going to shoot down. You're still sharing messages from the company that was set. And that is the stepping stone to creating your own content. It's a 3-step process. You start by sharing, reposting. You do a repost with thoughts or comments. And then thirdly, after you've done that for a little bit, then you get into a level where you're confident enough to create your own content and don't ask yourself, will I be punished for this? I mean, you feel confident to do that.
Yeah. And then do we go into like 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, where it's like it's this text, and then
Yeah,
actually I'm going to put a
yeah,
bit of a cheeky photo in. And actually now I'm
yeah,
going to start to use video, and you crank up and get better and better. But
yeah,
you've reached
exactly.
level 3,
Yeah.
which is the
The-
top.
I have a simple trick though that I often give people is like, if they want to get to the third level, which is the I create my own posts, I tend to say, well, you know what? Take a full month, 30 days, and write a post every day, but never post it. Just write it, make sure it's ready, and but never post it. There's no pressure. You don't have to put it out there.
Yeah.
Do that for 30 days, and you'll get your comfort level up to a higher degree. And after those 30 days, you'll be saying to yourself, gee, this is good enough to post. I feel really confident now to put my posts out there.
And the last 3 or 4 are actually probably your first public posts.
Yeah, I mean, whenever
You've
you
actually
go
got a
for the,
little stash.
I mean, it could be faster. I mean, if after a week you say, oh well, I've got this idea of creating content, I feel comfortable. I don't feel like if I'm gonna post this, people are gonna, shoot me down or whatever. But you'll have that confidence, and that also will be built on the previous on step 2. But you'll have the confidence to go out there and do it, and write a post once a week, twice a week, whatever consistency you feel you want to keep up. But you get to get into this habit. I create a post and, eventually I'll post it. But if you don't have to post it, it's zero pressure.
I like that. I like that because it's easy for you and I to sit here because we've been through all these stages and practiced it, and probably could do with go back actually and look doing a refresher and looking at it. But I actually challenge someone to go straight to step 3 and with video, straight to video,
But
doing
video,
nothing. So he got these reports and he wasn't even reposting them. I said, just take the report and just read, just kind of read it out, or just summarize what's in this report
yeah,
and do that, because they get them every week, every Monday. And he started doing it, and he hit this consistency, this confidence, did it, and it's made a massive difference. He's been
yeah,
invited on podcasts. He has been put into
okay,
positions to go to certain shows, certain events.
yeah,
He's
okay, cool.
it's made a massive difference.
Yeah, the
It
same thing is
works.
true. Yeah, but the same thing is true with video, because with video it's even more relevant, because a lot of people are afraid to be on a video. Well, if you video yourself every day for 1 minute every day for 30 days, after 30 days you'll get over your camera shyness.
Yeah. Again, we might be going off into a different topic,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
I
no,
kind of
no, no.
on my on time. But I think video is probably where it's at now because of the AI stuff. But if you can look down a camera and you can say stuff, that is you, and we know it's you.
Yep.
Rather than, does that person actually know that, or did they just get it off ChatGPT? That's
True.
my opinion on it anyway. I don't know what you think on that.
No, no, no. I think video is obviously the most effective and the most authentic way of doing, delivering your content. You know what you get. I mean, I'm a huge fan of video messages on LinkedIn, in all honesty, because one, I can speak faster than I can write. Second of all, people get to see me. And three, there's what I call eye contact. Okay, it's one way, but at least you talk to the person. So video is really for me the relationship builder, the confidence builder between you and the person on the other side. So yes, I'm fully in on video. I like video as a delivery mechanism. It has some drawbacks, but on the other hand, every medium has its drawbacks. But yeah, I agree. Video is the way to go, and what a way to be an advocate of your company.
Yeah. There's another, I mean, there's other elements to video, but there's also something, I think, from a sales point of view, particularly interesting, which is this perceived effort. Like if you've made a video, my perception is you've actually gone out your way to do something here.
Yeah,
You've put a little
exactly.
bit into this rather than that's copy and paste. Or did you actually, do you even know you've sent me this message? Are you just plugged into some kind of automation that's firing this stuff out?
Yeah.
Hey, the video's that's a third podcast, mate.
But the thing about video is people will remember you because you did something nobody else does.
Yeah.
I
In
mean,
some industries, absolutely. Sorry, but the people just aren't using it. What a chance to stand out.
yeah, exactly. If you want to stand out, make video. People will talk about it for the next 10 years that you were the first person they ever received a video from.
Yeah. It doesn't even need to be that good. It doesn't need to be polished. But in fact, if it's too polished, like I've already said, it's
Yeah,
we're not
maybe.
polished. We're real. Yeah, I don't sweat
Exactly.
it.
It's who we are, it's what we do. And we are human and we do things the way we do them. So I'd rather know who I will be meeting with if I receive a video and at least I know what the person is like before I actually see you.
Yeah. We've got down a couple of little rabbit holes here, but
Yeah.
I love that. So the steps to employee advocacy. So to start off, just share stuff. But step
Yeah.
one, then step two, share, repost. You're just talking pure repost off company page, but just put your own little synopsis, your own little thoughts, your own little opinions.
Exactly.
Then as you do that, say, well, actually, if I was going to rewrite this myself, put
Yep.
it into your own words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then maybe if you can put a picture with it, video or whatever. And and we said also just the personal stuff. The
Yep.
company isn't
Yep.
putting your personal stuff out there. That's you. Don't
Yeah,
miss that
and
trick
make
to
it
sell
make a
yourself.
mix of both. Make a mix of company stuff and your own stuff, because that way people get to see a multi-dimensional being as opposed to seeing a single-dimensional being.
Yeah. And then that 30 days sort of
Yeah,
what would we call that? Self-confidence builder or something like that. Which
yeah,
also
yeah,
then gives you some things which you can use. I love that.
yeah.
Well, time has flown. Time has flown. I think we've covered quite a lot of stuff with our little detours. But where can this is a stupid question. I just always ask it, but I'll ask it anyway. Let's go. Where can people find you, Mick?
Well, obviously the platform with the blue logo that says LinkedIn, but on the other hand, what I'd like to leave people with is if you look on LinkedIn, I've put together a one-page sheet for any salesperson or anybody on LinkedIn to start a conversation with anyone on LinkedIn. You can download it for free. It's part of my profile. It's on my profile. It's in the featured section. You can find it there. Please do download it, and you'll get maybe one or two ideas of how you can use LinkedIn in a different way than what you have done before, which ends up being more of a power user.
Brilliant. Okay, that's really cool. Very cool. So one page sheet, start a conversation with anybody. Awesome. Mick, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you coming along and sharing some of this. I think we probably do need to catch up on a couple of the other things that we just started to open the box on. We could do that
Yeah,
in the future, but no, I really appreciate you sharing on this particular subject because
thank you.
it's a trick that people are missing.
Yeah, it's something that people are missing, and we have to do it, and it's the way forward. I guess companies need to embrace it as opposed to trying to control it. That's really what it boils down to.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. And yeah, who knows? We'll meet again on LinkedIn, outside of LinkedIn. So who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll be in the UK. Well, actually, I'll be in the UK in March. So who knows? We might be able to see each other then.
We'll have a chat. We'll have a good chat. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Vic.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Today podcast with me, your host, Fred Copestake. I hope you've enjoyed what you heard today. If you did, please get in touch and hit subscribe. And remember, you can take the Collaborative Selling Scorecard for free to check out how your sales approach works in today's environment. You'll find it in the show notes.